Hey, what is up, card fighters? This is another Unica match. This is from week. No, this is from second. Yeah, week two. Even though it is one deck 1 week, this is my second attempt at locals because I was only able to go to one locals that week, so I had to come back with Unica the next week instead of being able to go to two locals like I normally do. Which in the future I might just cut it down to one locals and not like strain myself because I've just been preoccupied with a lot of stuff lately, guys. That is a major reason for the lack of content. A lot of stuff behind the scenes. I have still been editing videos, so I do have like a backlog of like a couple videos, like at least like a week and a half worth of videos. But yeah, this is Unica versus YOUTHBERK. I did make my changes to Unica, so I do run more Soul Charge cards in this version of the deck, and it works out, in my opinion at least, way better. So my opponent's going first here. Pitch a Chalice to draw, or to ride up. Pitch a crit trigger here, which is kind of what we want. Soul Charge a non-trigger here, which is kind of what we don't want. But it is what it is. Calling out Bicorn here to put that crit into Soul. So we're going to swing for 8 here. He takes it and gets the over trigger here, which we are happy with that. Passing the turn. Pitches a critical trigger here to ride up. Looks at top 3. Gets his Sequana. And then just swings for 18 at our Vanguard. We take it, gets a front, damage a PG here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Pitch another crit here. Soul Charge 2, we did Soul Charge a crit, so we're going to be able to draw one off the Sparta, which is very nice. And then we Soul Charge 2 triggers from the drop zone with the Kite's Peak. So we already have the 3 critical triggers online. It'd be really nice if we had a Gungan Ram here. Looks like we checked another Makani, and I choose to keep him at 1 damage here. Pitches Youth here. Persona Ride Youth. He's gonna pitch the grade 1 Angel here. He's gonna get Dolbreg, and then he's gonna call the grade 1 Angel behind Dolbreg. Then he's gonna activate Schneisel here and gets Gust. Which, this is the reason why I restricted him to only 1 counterblast, was I wanted him to only be able to do one thing with his counterblast. Like, if he had the Tempest here, I only wanted him to like draw cards with Tempest. But he chooses just to do Vanilla Gust here to get that extra attack. So he's going to swing here for 18. If he remembered the power off of Dolbreg, which I don't believe he did. I believe he just told me 13. Because Dolbreg, when you do your revolve form, Dolbreg gives your Vanguard +5. But that's fine. He didn't get a trigger anyway. Go swing on our rear guard. We take it. He's going to swing on our Vanguard. We guard for another 15 and pass the turn. Thinking about what I want to discard here. Get our 2 free rear guards. Feels good, feels good. Call another Kite's Peak here, which is the main reason why we weren't sad that he killed our Kite's Peak. Again, look at how fat our soul is. If we had a Gungan Ram here, we would literally be drawing cards for days. I choose to give a solitary 5k to the front row with Unica's ability. So first check is a critical trigger, so now Unica's doing 3 damage. So he takes 1, gets a crit, takes 2, gets a front, takes 3, so he's at 33 now. So I choose to swing at the Schneisel, I believe. And I believe I chose to swing at the Schneisel again, which he guards. This is 35 to my 33. He Persona Rides here. Well, it looks like he does have the Tempest here. He's going to activate Schneisel here. Get another Gust. Which I believe he gets greedy, and instead of doing the Tempest, he goes for Gust. Because he just wanted to get more draft checks. First check. Tempest. Yep, he gets greedy here. He has 2 Tempests in hand, but he goes for the Gust here. And chooses to drop a 5k instead of dropping one of the grade 3s in hand. Maximum greed, you gotta love it. Gets a crit here, so he puts us to 5, but one of the heal triggers does proc, so we go back to 4. And I believe he just... No, this attack can still swing at our Vanguard. And this is 45, I believe. Which I was asking how it became 45, and then he was telling me because of the triggers. And the 5k. Which was... I don't even know why I was disputing it so much when it was literally just a 15 to guard, but... you gotta fight him, guys. You gotta fight him. Putting 2 triggers from our drop. Again, we would have been drawing infinite cards if we had the Gungan Ram. We have the Gungan Ram. So now we're going to be able to draw infinite cards here. So we're going to Soul Blast 3 normal units because we have so many cards in Soul. Drawing one with the Gungan Ram feels good. Feels very good. I'm going to Soul Blast 1 to give the Sparta 10k here. And then we're going to Soul Blast 3. We're going to retire the Schneisel and just give 5k to the front row here. Oh, no, just 5k to 2 units. So I give 5k to my Vanguard and 5k to Kite's Peak. So my Vanguard is 26 right now. Which he has a perfect guard in hand, but he chooses just 2 to pass our Vanguard, which we didn't get any triggers here. Again, maximum greed, maximum greed. So this is 28 at the Vanguard. He guards with a 30k shield, or 20k shield. Then we swing, gets a PG here. So now he has to go into Tempest, unless he gets another Gust here. But now he has to go into Tempest. Calls out a Dolbreg here. Swings for 13. And I just double intercept here for 2 to pass. Because the Kite's Peak is a 10k shield. Gets a trigger in a grade 3. We have none of those on board. It's going to swing for 15 here. It's going to swing for 28. No drive check. Yeah, no drive check. Which I just choose to guard this. And then he's going to swing for like a really big number of Dolbreg, but I just take it. Which we Persona Ride here. Which, before we call Kite's Peak, we're going to Soul Blast 3 triggers of Gungan Ram to draw a card. Or at least 2 triggers of Gungan Ram to draw a card. And then we're going to call Kite's Peak, get those triggers back. I love it. I love it. This is my favorite part of the deck. Just like, basically like looping Gungan Rams. Call another Kite's Peak here. Put 2 cards into our Soul. Activate Sparta again here and give Sparta 10k. The reason I only bind critical triggers of Sparta here is because criticals are going to go to bind if I Soul Blast them on my Vanguard's ability, regardless. So I would rather Soul Blast it with Sparta and then Soul Blast a non-trigger or something that's not a critical. Or a trigger that's not a critical. Which, we get the over-trigger here. So we give the 100 million to Kite's Peak, and we swing with the non-100 million Kite's Peak here. He's able to guard that very easily. Then we swing with the 100 million, and he's able to perfect guard that. So now our Vanguard has a 10k and a crit. He Persona Rides here. Gets Gust. Calls out Therapy Angel. Gets Persona Ride here. So swing for 23 here. Or did he Persona Ride? No, he didn't Persona Ride. He's debating on whether or not he should give it all to Vanguard. The funny thing is, the only reason I 2 to pass as Vanguard is because I have no choice. Because of the rest of the cards in my hand. My hand is not sexy for guarding here. I believe if he gets 2 triggers, he would have won the game anyway. Which I believe he did try to go for it and gave everything to Vanguard. So he looks like he discarded a grade 3 here for that. He's going to swing for 23 with a check. And we no pass the Vanguard here. Which gets a heal trigger here, which is good for him. He gets back to 4. He's going to swing for 20. We guard for 15. He's going to swing for 35 here. And we guard 38. Going to stand and draw. Persona Ride here. Call down 2 purple boys, which if there's like triggers bound, he gets 10k on our turn. So like right now we have 38k columns. We bind another triggers, that's 48k column. Swing with our Vanguard. Our Vanguard has 3 crits right now. Retire the Schneisel. This is 21, 31, 41. 3 crits. Triple drive. Which he takes it here. And that is the end of game 1, right? Or is that the end of the match? No, that's the end of game 1. That's the end of game 1. Man, that was a long one. Whew, that was a sweater. Let me get some water here. Voice is kind of hoarse right now. Man, I thought that was the end of the match. That was a nail biter. For sure, that was a nail biter. And I was so close to being dead on that last turn. If he did Persona Ride, I believe I would have been dead on that last turn. I was so close to being dead on that last turn. My hand was really not that sexy for guard. I shuffle my deck quite a lot here because I do bunch up my triggers and my non-trigger units, so I just wanted to make sure I get a decent randomization. I'm really like if you guys see me shuffle on this channel, I'm like really anal about that because I'm super paranoid about just not shuffling right and then getting punished for it. So, as you saw, that was a hand of all normal units, and you would normally keep a hand like that. Not in this deck. You want to start with a couple triggers or a couple critical triggers, so I did choose to mull a couple cards back. Again, it's just really important that you get the ball rolling and get triggers into your soul so that you can keep, you know, basically like recycling them for your UNICA's ability and for Gungan Ram. Pitches a Dolberg here to ride up. We pitch a crit here. We soul charge a Dyna. And we soul charge a Bicorn. I'm going to swing for 8 here. He gets a defensive crit, which is good for him. We drive check a Unica here, which is nice. Discards another Dolberg here. He's going to top 3 search. I believe there were 3 triggers, so he chooses to call none. And then he's going to top 5 search here. He doesn't get a YOUTHBERK here, so he's just going to shuffle up his deck. Still gets the 5k, though. So he's going to swing for 10 here. We guard for 15. He gets a Sequana. Then he's going to swing for 15. We take it. Discard a Bicorn here. Soul Charging 2. We Soul Charge a crit, so we're going to be able to draw off the Sparta. Always feels good to draw off Sparta. Soul Charge 2 crits from the drop here with the Kite Peak. Soul Blasting 3 here to draw a card. Which I call another Gungan Ram here. Soul Charge 1. We Soul Charge a crit. So I believe we have access to 3 criticals now. Yeah, we have access to crits here. We're gonna draw again with the Gungan Ram, and the reason I make a 16k column is because I can make the grade 1 in the back row disappear with its ability, just shove them to soul. So we're technically overcrowding our board because we're gonna get two free units from our soul next turn, but it was worth it to be able to just push him. Youth is a strong deck, but there's a few different ways that you can. It's a very piece reliant deck at the same time. There's a few different ways that you can try and tackle it. You could either damage deny it, which means they're not gonna get their ideal plays in the early game when they matter, and you just try and kill them before they stabilize. Or you could just rush them, and they're either gonna have to guard with their pieces or just eat a bunch of damage. Swing at our Kite's Peak, and he's gonna swing here for 15. Which we just take it, go to 4. This is actually perfect for us because he swung at one of our rear guards, so we didn't have to call over anything. So automatically we're gonna shove Makani into soul here. Counterblast one with Dyna. Put 2 crits in our soul. We have 3 crits. Unica is fully online. Game 3 is like really where Unica seems to shine, isn't it? Oh no, this is game 2. Never mind, never mind. Soul Blasting 3 to draw a card with Gungan Ram here. Best combo in the deck. Our hand is plentiful. Partly because we're not guarding. That's why we're at 4. We're gonna Soul Blast 3 crits here. Bind them for Unica's effect. Retire the Dolbreg. And then just 5k the front row. Over triggers the pass here. So we're gonna have all effects to the Dyna. Get another crit. All effects to the Dyna again. And then we're gonna get Unica for Persona Ride. So I'm going to swing at the rear guard here and choose to counterblast choke him. So he's not going to be able to draw any cards on his next turn. Which is very painful because on his first Tempest, he didn't get any defensive cards. He only got, like, basically engine pieces. Just going to swing for 33 here. We choose the perfect guard. I believe we had another copy of Persona Red in hand. Which he goes for Gust here because he can't Tempest. He's going to pitch Therapy Angel, call the Therapy Angel the back row, swing for 33 with a drive. Just one drive. So I guard for no pass here. Oh, no, it was 2 drives. It was 2 drives. So that was 2 to pass. That was 2 to pass. So this is 38 at my Vanguard, I believe. No, 33 at my Vanguard, but we do take the attack. We Persona Ride here. Told y'all I had another one. Call Makani here for the Soul Charge. Soul Charge the Makani here. Soul Charging 2 triggers of Dyna here. Soul Blast those same triggers to draw with the Gungan Ram, and then call Kite's Peak to put those triggers back into Soul. Looping Gungan Ram, baby. My favorite part of this deck. You guys are gonna hear me say that a lot. This is my favorite part of the deck is just looping the Gungan Ram. Again, we're gonna loop another Gungan Ram here. And then we're gonna call over Sparta here, just a Soul Charge a trigger from our drop, so that we can get the 3 triggers and be able to give 5k to our front row. I choose to retire the grade 1 here in case he gets any key damage triggers, and I'm able to just swing in and clean up his front row rear guard. We get a heal here. We go back down to 3, which is very nice for us. He goes to 5, he guards, because he got a defensive, so that was 43. I believe that was 38. And he couldn't guard the last one, and that is the end of, I drew into the overtrigger. That is the end of, Youth versus Unica. A very grindy matches, which is kind of how the deck has to play, because you don't have, like, the best offensive pressure. Not really until, like, the late game, where you can make your lanes, like, moderately massive. Like, not too big, but you can make them, like, annoying. But you kind of, like, have to play, like, a control game, like where you loop your draws, you like retire your opponent's cards on field. Sometimes you have to attack into their rear guards. But yeah, that's really like more or less the playstyle of the deck right now, which is I'm completely fine with that. That's one of my preferred playstyles. But anyways, guys, again, I got off on another tangent. Sorry about that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. There will be more videos like this in the future. I am back on my content grind, baby. There will be a deck profile. There will be after I upload all these match videos, there will be a deck profile. I can't tell you what day because my upload schedule is all out of whack, but I'm getting content to you guys as soon as possible. All of you that stuck around and even the people that recently joined even though I wasn't producing any content, thank you. I love all of you and this is for you. Like all this like hard work and dedication is for you guys. Just for like sticking around. So again, thank you.